Well, welcome everyone. Welcome to History Happy Hour, honoring Black History Month. My name is Allison Espindola. I'm the Events and Rentals Coordinator here at the Idaho State Museum. The Idaho State Historical Society, which includes the Idaho State Museum, the State Historic Preservation Office, the Idaho State Archives, and the Old Idaho Penitentiary and Historic Sites, is dedicated to preserving and promoting Idaho history through virtual programming like tonight, as well as through on-site visits. Now, before we jump into our event tonight, I do have a couple of things that I want to bring up and mention. The very first thing is I want to thank all of you who are joining us tonight. And also a special thank you to our members who are here tonight. I see several of you in the audience this evening, so it is always wonderful to see you here and to see your continued support. So thank you so much. If you are not a member and you want to know more about it and how to join, or you just want to stay up to date on what we're up to these days, you can follow us on our social media pages, or you can visit our website, which is history.idaho.gov. Now, the other thing that I want to talk about tonight before we get started is to ask all of you in the audience a question. So if you've joined a History Happy Hour in the past, I'd love to start with an icebreaker. So tonight, open up that chat bar, share with the panelists and I tonight what you are drinking. So that chat where you are typing away right now is the place that you can also ask your questions to the panelists. Throughout the night, just type them in there anytime a question pops in your mind that you want to know more about. And then at the end of the panel discussion, I will read your questions out to our panelists, and we will try to get as many answered during our time together tonight. So thank you for sharing. And oh my goodness, there are some incredible beverages being enjoyed tonight. Thank you for sharing that, and some very wise and healthy choices too. So kudos to you on that one. But let's get started. Tonight's History Happy Hour is honoring National Black History Month and the many contributions that African Americans have made to the economic, cultural, and political environment and development in Idaho, past, present, and future. Panelists tonight are going to be highlighting the incredible contributions of one particular organization and what they're doing in their community. This month's panelists join us from Idaho Falls African American Alliance, including the current president, Dave Snell, Sue Rivero, and JoLynn Thomas. Now, really quick, a very short introduction to the Idaho Falls African American Alliance. In 2006, a small group of Idaho National Laboratory employees came together to help an Idaho Falls teen. And from there, the idea of an official organization focused on providing assistance and also advancing diversity was born. So thank you three for being here tonight, for being panelists. I'd love to start off tonight if you want to share a little bit more about yourselves, as well as a little bit more about the Idaho Falls African American Alliance.
Sure. I am Dave Snell. I am current president and founder of the Idaho Falls African American Alliance, and two of my favorite workers are here with me tonight, JoLynn Thomas and Sue Rivero. And we are excited to be a part of Idaho's history in that we have grown this event into one of the largest King celebrations in Idaho. And so for that, we are really proud. And with that, I'll let the ladies have something to say. Meet JoLynn Thomas.
Well, thank you. It's a pleasure to be here tonight. And I absolutely love working on the African American Alliance with Dave and Eloise and Sue and Robert and so many others who come together for the purpose of initiating important dialogue in our community and promoting education and, most importantly, unity. And one of the reasons that I was so excited to get involved with this is because from a young age, when I heard the words of Dr. Martin Luther King Jr., it really spoke to me. And I felt very connected to that message. And then as the mother of a biracial son, I wanted to do my part to help promote inclusivity and raise awareness and bring people together.
Yeah, and I am Sue Rivero, and I am just, my dad actually worked with Dave for over a decade with the African American Alliance.
Yes.
And I kind of just said, hey, what's this about? When I moved to Idaho, I got involved a little bit, and then I've kind of in the last couple of years taken over a lot of the things that my dad would have done. And you know, he still does contribute, but being hands on the ground here, or feet on the ground here, I'm able to do a lot more in person than he can. And so I just kind of have been very impressed and have fallen in love with all the people that volunteer, the group of people that, even if it's just for, you know, a little bit of help at the banquet or with the scholarships, the people have just really had good hearts. There are so many intelligent, career-minded people, housewives, young people. I mean, just a huge variety of people that are all coming together for this community and this organization. I'm really proud to be a part of it.
Thank you. Thank you for sharing that. And I love, Sue, that this is like a family legacy, that you're carrying on the work that your father has done and staying connected and having that relationship. That's incredible. Thank you for sharing all about that. One of the things that is interesting is the connection with the Idaho National Laboratory. So I'd love to hear a little bit about that. And, you know, what is that role between the INL and the Idaho Falls African American Alliance? And is that still a current role? And what does that look like?
Well, the INL has played a part in our sponsorship since the inception of this group. Many of the workers, as I said earlier, I founded the group, and just bannering conversation around on the floors at work. We kind of came to this conclusion that, you know, we are blessed with great jobs. What can we do to give back to our community? And so with those ideas, you know, I went to some of the other people, and we helped a young mother came to us that had adopted an African American kid, and he was a great orator. And so she said to us, he's won the competitions here. Can you help us get him to the regional event? And so one of our first things before we were even a group, we raised some money and helped this kid get to this event, this speech contest. And I think he did very well. I can't say that I remember her getting back to us, but she did thank us for what we did. I attend church in Utah. Two young ladies that had scholarships to the University of Utah, again, before the African American Alliance was formed, we helped them out with a laptop, a scientific calculator. Those ladies now reside in San Francisco. One is a lawyer, and the others just received her master's degree. And so it was those ideas and those conversations that we put together. And the INL, because we were all employees out at the lab, they just supported what we done. And our group helps the INL in that when they recruit African American candidates, those scientists or technicians that come here from other cities, and they know that the lab is Dr. King friendly, African American friendly, and so it's just a safe place. We have resources that we can help them with their families, find out where to go to get things that they might need in the community. You know, making connections in the community. And so it's been something of a love fest between the INL and our group. We also won a community service award for our efforts, and that was a real big deal. And the lab director let us know that, hey, whatever you guys need, we're here to help you do. And so that made us feel really good. So that's just a little bit. I could talk all night about that, but I know we have a limited time, so
Thank you. Well, and I feel like there's a few things that I really picked up on there, and that was the conversation and the connection, and how having the conversations and having that awareness, bringing people into the discussions and finding that connection to community, connection to the organizations, and building from there. And that's kind of, from what I understand, that is what really brought about the Idaho Falls African American Alliance, was that building together. That is an amazing and beautiful story, and that does create such a nice and rich environment. And one of the things I think, Dave, you shared with me earlier was, some of the goals of the organization and what your mission is and what you want to see. And that is, creating that happy environment for people to be in, and that safe environment as well. So I think that's such a powerful message. Thank you. Before we jump into the next question, I have another question for those of us joining tonight. It's actually going to be a poll. So really quickly, I'm going to pop up a poll on our audience's screen to ask you all other topics that you might be interested in. Now, if you don't see the poll, or you don't see an answer that you like, or it's too big for you, feel free to type in that chat other things that you want to talk about, other things that you want to learn about. This is also my reminder that if you have questions for our panelists tonight, make sure you write those in the chat so that when we get to the Q&A portion, I can read them out loud for you so we can get those answered. Oh, and we have a three-way tie right now with lots of interest. Oh, cultural holidays and local authors are taking a lead. I love it. So thank you so much. I will leave this poll up for a little bit longer so you can go ahead and answer it, you will, or again, feel free, type in the chat and share with us other things that you would love to chat about and learn about, or people to connect with from around the state. But jumping back into the conversation, I'm going to end that poll. So if you missed it, type away in that chat. One of the things that seems really a big focus for the Idaho Falls African American Alliance is education and supporting young adults as they're kind of going out into the world with their different endeavors. Why is it that education is such an integral part of your mission?
Well, it's always important to have mentors in life. I've been out at the INL for 39 years. I've had some great teachers, and it's important for us to show these kids in our community that there are people here that care about them. And that was one of the things. Our silent auction was put in place to raise money, and to those kids that will fill out an application, we have we'll give them $300, $400, $500 to help them in their educational pursuits. One of our kids that we were able to that was able to benefit from our organization went to Harvard Law School, and he was the editor of the Harvard Law Review. And he sent us a beautiful letter back saying, thank you, African American Alliance, for believing in me. And that is what it was all about. It touched all of our hearts. We keep that letter. I think it's even up on our webpage. But that's what it's all about, giving back. And this is truly just one way that we have done this with our silent auction. And that's why education is really important to us here at the African American Alliance.
Thank you. And you brought it up, so now I have to ask you about that silent auction, because you just had your banquet a couple of weeks ago, I believe. So I'd love to hear more about it, and tell us a little bit about the speakers and the environment and what that was all about, and ultimately what were the results.
Sure.
Okay. Well, our theme this year was "Let Peace and Unity Take Flight." And it was the perfect theme, given the fact that our speaker was a former F-22 fighter pilot, and then our virtual guest had worked at NASA and been very instrumental with the Mars rover project. So we wanted something that would speak to our mission, which is to create more unity and peace in our community, and also kind of play off the fact that that was the background of our speakers. And they did a fantastic job. We've heard great things from people in the community. And one of the things that I particularly loved, and I've heard a lot of positive response from, is that our speaker, our keynote speaker, Daniel Walker, he took questions. And it became this dialogue, and that is part of the African American Alliance mission. We are dedicated to initiating important dialogue that can help transform our community. And so to be a part of that, and I got to kind of carry the mic around to different people, and there were so many people. I mean, honestly, we could have kept that going. But for the sake of time, we eventually had to end it. But we went a little longer than we normally do because there was so much interest. And the diversity of questions was exciting. And so that kind of sparked something with us. We were all kind of talking about maybe this is something we can do more of in terms of having these kinds of discussions, and we're examining what that would look like. But just to give a place where there can be discussion about important topics in our community.
Fantastic. Well, and again, I think it goes back to that idea of discussion, of conversation, of talking and being open as well, and in that safe environment. And it sounds like you have, and you've continued to create an environment where people feel safe to ask those questions and to have people there that they're open to the dialogue, to have that back, and to have a keynote speaker that stands up and is able to answer those questions live like that is incredible. What an amazing opportunity. So I do also want to ask about that future, and you alluded a little bit to it, Jolynn, about, creating something in the future, maybe where there is that dialogue and a space for that. But are there any other plans going 2022 and beyond for the Idaho Falls African American Alliance?
We have so many ideas among ourselves. We're working on things. We've been approached by some of our sponsors from this last event, and they've asked us that very same question. Let's sit down and share some of our future ideas and what we can make this look like and how we can grow our group. You talked about a little bit about our silent auction. It raised over $6,500 this year in our silent auction, and so each year it just increases just a little more. And we pick out a nonprofit to donate to. This year's nonprofit was Champ's Heart. Champ's Heart, and it's a group of veterans that a group that uses equine therapy to just kind of calm PTSD patients and kids, and so it was just a beautiful event. It was a touching video that we got a chance to view from Champ's Heart, and so yes, we're looking at entertaining all options. Nothing is off the table as to what we'll do in the future.
We do have lots of ideas, like Dave said. Just a lot of our ideas kind of stem around children and the youth and the young adults in the community. We all have a great desire to improve the situations and give opportunities to the youth in the community, and also, like, going back to the science and technology background, give mentorship and stuff. And so we're tossing around ways to make those kinds of things
Wonderful. And I feel like you already snuck a peek at one of the audience questions that came in, and it was, what are the ages of those that you help out? Is it high school, university? And so it sounds like really you're open to all ages, all people, and supporting them. Or is there something specific that kind of a cutoff age or?
No, we're open to seniors that are going to register in the Idaho colleges the following year. That's our target audience. And we have been told that by some of the educators, we might want to try and identify students earlier. And as Jolene was saying, our idea is to go into some of the schools, and I think Eloise took a call the other day from one of the charter schools here in town. They want us to come by for Black History Month and share with them. They put us on their schedule to come in and share with them some of the Black history and some of the cultural ideas that we have here in our group. And so, yes, there are just nothing is off the table. Nothing is off the table.
I love that. Very nice. Sue, did you want to add anything to that one?
Oh, I actually, just to add to that, everything from the very young elementary on up, we elementary to senior. We're interested in things that will bring the community together to, it takes a village.
Right.
So it takes a village for not just the youth, but also just everybody. In today's world, we have to take care of each other.
One of the things that I was really proud of is that we hosted a Grilling with Gratitude event where we kind of gave a shout out to our local law enforcement and our fire department. And that was a great event for us to be able to rub shoulders with them. And we invited the community to come out and have a good time. And it's just about strengthening those relationships. And we have had some really strong relationships develop with our police department. And I think that's been really crucial. And I have loved the fact that they have been so interested in asking questions and wanting to know more. In fact, at one event, our police chief and a couple of other officers asked my son, "Hey, we want to know about your experience." And he was kind of like, I don't think you do. And they said, "No, we really, really do." And I thought that that was just so fantastic that we have that kind of leadership and that kind of law enforcement who wants to hear perspectives and learn and grow. And they were so attentive to listen to some of the experiences where he had been maybe targeted or profiled, not just here, but in other places that he's been. And there was not this hostility. There was this openness. And to me, that's another type of education that we are focused on. So it's promoting educational opportunities, but it's also being open to share experiences. And I think that's how we create more unity.
Fantastic. Thank you for sharing that. And that's incredibly brave of your son as well to be able to share that and to have that voice. That's not easy. I can only imagine. One of the other questions that came in is about the location of your outreach and who you're serving. And is this more of a regional organization and focusing on people within kind of the Idaho Falls area, or is this statewide or beyond those borders?
Well, we started off just here in Eastern Idaho, and as the scholarships have been made available to us from CEI, Porterhouse Incorporated, we are able to offer those scholarships to any of the students that in our area here in Eastern Idaho, not just Bonneville County, but all over Eastern Idaho. We will take, we'll give that money to anyone, and that takes the time to fill out that information that we require in our application. And so, yes, and we like to make this a blueprint, as Jolene was saying, we'd like to make this a blueprint so that we could share it with other communities. We feel like our community is really coming together. Our mayor is a friend of ours, and the police chief, and so it's very vital, and especially in times like these where so much division out there. We love this event. This is one of our staple events, and it allows us just for a night to bring our community together. And as I shared with you earlier, Allison, it's that simple message, a little love, and I know that's simple, but that's really all it is caring for those that are around you and understanding the diversity in our neighborhoods.
And playing off that answer just a little bit, your organization is very specific to Idaho Falls and the African American Alliance, but is there a plan to extend that mission and that organization beyond Idaho Falls in an organization capacity? And what would that look like?
Well, Eloise just walked in and she's she walking around the camera. But yes, we do. It would just be nice. It would just be nice to make this an Idaho thing and just even a bigger event. But as you can see, our core group is relatively small, and it's a lot of work throughout the year to put this event on. And we welcome the help, and wherever we can go to make a difference is where we want to be. And if that's Boise, if we can do that, we will. Wherever we can go to make a difference is what we want to do.
Well, thank you so much for sharing. Is there anything else before we wrap up tonight that you would like to share with our guests joining us this evening?
One real quick thing, and if I fail to mention this, I always say this, and I like to talk about our police chief. He gave up 3 hours on his daughter's birthday to come down with a group of African Americans. It was a combined group of African Americans, just members of our community. And he shared with us for 3 hours his excessive force policy and invited us down to his body camera to establish his body camera policy, and just let us bounce questions off of him. And I share with my family who don't live here in Idaho that I have the police's chief cell phone number. If I, and they said, Dave, you're lying to me. I said, no, if I need the police chief, I can call him. I have a cell phone number. And that's how he's made himself available to us. And that's what we think that a community, a unified community might look like when you have so many problems and people doing things with saying bad things about the police. We can assure them that the police chief here in Idaho Falls is understanding. He understands, and he wants to be a part of the community. He wants his officers to be a part of our event and learn about the diversity in their communities that they're policing. And so kudos to Chief Johnson and Mayor Casper.
Absolutely. They came out and marched with us at our Stand Together Idaho Falls, and it was a great event where we marched for unity. We had t-shirts, and it was a really cool sight to see our police officers walking with us. And in that moment, we all kind of thought, this can be something that can spread beyond just Idaho. We can set an example, because this was at a time where there was a lot of horrible, violent riots, and we marched together and then met and had some speakers and uplifting messages. And I think that when your police chief will lead by example, they're not just talking the talk, they're walking the walk, and bring his officers not to be there. They weren't there to, act in an official capacity. They were there in unity with us and with the message and the dream of Dr. King and the message that we're trying to put forward.
Thank you. Thank you for sharing that. And that sounds like you have an amazing partner there in the area, and that is inspiring to see that happen, and the hopes that it continues to spread and be that example for others. Thank you so much. Well, we are right at that 6:30 mark. So I do want to thank all of you joining us tonight, again, for being here, and also to our panelists, Dave Snell, Sue Rivero, and Jolynn Thomas. Thank you so much for your time tonight and for sharing all of that amazing information and what you were up to. That is so inspiring and incredible. We are committed to providing opportunities like this for you, our visitor, while at home or at one of our sites. And one of the ways that we do that is by finding out more about you. So in just a second, I'm going to pop a survey link into the chat for you if you want to take a couple of minutes tonight to fill that out and share a little bit more about who you are and what your interests are. But don't worry, if you miss it tonight, you're going to get an email tomorrow with a link to that survey. And you'll also receive some links tonight, as well as a link to the Idaho Falls African American Alliance website, so you can continue learning more and staying in touch with them as well. So for up-to-date information about other events at the Idaho State Museum or with the Idaho State Historical Society, or to become a member, or any of the other fun things that you can do in connection with us or our sites, please remember to visit our website at history.idaho.gov or follow us on social media. Thank you again for joining tonight. Have a great evening.